Hello guys, this is Doronsmovies and welcome to the 46th episode of the World of Warcraft lore Q&As. Now in this video, I'll be answering some of the questions you guys left in the previous one, and if you'd like to submit your own questions for the next video, you can leave that in the YouTube comment section, and you can send your questions by Facebook and Twitter, as you have links in the description for that below. And as I said in the past few videos, don't send them by YouTube personal messages because I missed so many messages before, because just the system is terrible and it's kinda related to the comments and I can't really tell it's either comments or messages, and I missed a lot of them because the system, just the YouTube one, is terrible. So just send them by comment section and Facebook and Twitter. Alright, so let's not waste any more time, let's get into the actual question. First question is by Alexander, and he asks, after reading up on the lore and talking to many people in the game, most people have the idea that the Burning Legion should be the final expansion. One last giant fight with the demon hordes, but personally myself, I believe that the Burning Legion should be the first expansion to start off a story of the Titans returning to Azeroth after the Burning Legion somehow unbinds the old gods, considering they're led by a Titan themselves, and I think we all know Sargeras just wants destruction. And what better way than to unchain the old gods? So do you think it is possible that the Titans would return after hearing about it and try to stop the old gods, or what would you want to happen? Alright, so that is actually quite an interesting idea when I think about it, because I don't think I've thought about it before. But right now we don't really know where all of the old gods are, but since the Titans locked them there ages ago, I think one would be able to unlock them as well, I guess. Also, the final expansion thing is kind of debatable at this point, because a lot of people say that the Burning Legion will be the final expansion, but I don't think they will just make an expansion with the Burning Legion and make us kill Sargeras and say like, yeah, we're done with the game, thanks for playing, all good things have to come to an end or something like that. I mean, that could be at some point, but I don't think Blizzard would plan out such a thing to end a franchise that is bringing them nothing but good. And the only way I see the last expansion for World of Warcraft is maybe if the subscribers drop or something, then they kind of stop it. But I don't think they will plan out the final expansion. But I do see the Burning Legion invasion is quite a relevant thing, and maybe the biggest expansion as of yet, as many things have been hinting towards it for quite some time now, for a few years. But on how everything will kind of unravel, I'm not really sure, because I can't really give any info on that, because no one really knows. And I also doubt Blizzard really knows. They know some stuff, I guess, but they don't really know everything. They're just kind of hinting towards it, and then they're gonna build off that, but I don't think they really know what's going to happen. Alright, next question is by Tom, and he asks, how do you feel about this idea? If the next expansion is South Seas based, Dark Below, could it be possible to have ships? For example, you'd start off with a small boat and you'd be able to dock at harbors, and it'd be a bit of like the Garrison system but limited. So for example, small boats hold 5 people, medium boats hold 15 people, large boats hold 30 people, and war boats hold 40 people. Now these boats would work as a drivable thing, and your guild would have to contribute. For example, the tailor would have to make sails, the blacksmiths and miners would craft and help build the boat. And they would work in real time. For example, if you were offline and someone were to raid you, you'd hire mercenaries to protect yourself. And these would work only if you had treasure and 2/3 of the guild was online. Treasure is obtained by raiding other guild/group ships. Another thing that would happen is that if you were to dock in an island, there would be a tavern where you could buy your new plans for your ship. And the project may be demanding mechanically, as the idea of sailing would be hard to make in the game, but graphically all they'd have to do is put a lot of ocean into the game. I'd like to know your opinion on this. Well, before, I would definitely say it has to be completely ridiculous, but since they introduced the garrisons, I can see a small chance for something like this, I guess. I mean, definitely not the exact description as you said, as it seems like a good idea for a standalone game, but it doesn't really seem like a great idea for an MMO that's been going on for 10 years. And I don't think Blizzard would go like naval all of a sudden and turn World of Warcraft into mainly a sea game, even though it would be awesome if they finally introduced kul'tiras, as that would be the great opportunity for that. Also, it seems like a good idea in theory, but not that much in practice, as guild boats, for example, wouldn't work unless you're in like a hardcore guild, as people come and go and come online at random times. So if there is a raid or something, like you have in some browser games, when someone raids you, someone has to check that, and it would be a bit harder to manage with only certain people online and offline. Because if only 2/3 of the guild have to be online to work on that, if you're in a smaller guild or a guild that isn't that active, like you would have to wait for other people and depend on other people, which would suck, as people usually have their own schedules. I mean, raid wise, yeah, they plan groups, but I don't think they would just have to wait for people to come online just so they can check a ship or something like that. Also, I don't see where you would really go, because you have the garrisons, but the garrisons we have right now do actually have an explanation. I mean, the garrisons are actually our main base of operations for the threat on Draenor, but sailing aimlessly wouldn't really make all that much sense. I mean, if you're just going around the ocean. Now, the best way I could see this being added is something related to maybe what we did in Thousand Needles with the quest, where you could summon your boat. Or, for example, if there is another expansion and you have your own garrison on like a shore, and you can use your boats, like you can like summon a boat and do certain tasks, or maybe even fishing. So I can see something happening with that, but I don't really see much apart from that, because even if it's a good idea, it's a bit of a lot to add for an MMO and kind of like not really that necessary. And I can already see people complaining about something like this if they added it, because it won't really be that functional. Alright, next question is by Creeper Defense, and he asks, what do you think are the chances that we will go to an alternate history of Azeroth? I was thinking maybe the Burning Legion in an alternate timeline could go to Azeroth instead of Draenor, corrupt the humans and make them build a dark portal to Draenor. Alright, so the alternate universe thing was introduced into World of Warcraft recently, and I mean it's been there before, like in the lore and all of that, but it was actually introduced in the game in like full scale, like an expansion quite recently with Worlds of Draenor, or at least it's supposed to be released. It's not yet, but it's gonna be in like 2 weeks from now. So I can see it being used again in the future, hopefully not in the next expansion, as that would be kind of too much if you have like 2 time travel expansions, but maybe in the future expansions, or maybe even like patches or certain encounters that could be relived. I mean, currently there are many ways to go about going to an alternate Azeroth, as we have been doing through the Caverns of Time, although on a small scale, but very relevant. I mean, we saw a lot of really important events in the Warcraft history, so maybe there could be an expansion like Worlds of Draenor, but we would go to the first invasion of the Burning Legion and help the Night Elves at this time, and then we could see all of the stuff as before. And I can see this as an amazing way to introduce old Azeroth and a bunch of new races to the actual game, so something like that could work. Although, I don't know, like, corrupt the humans. I mean, like the alternate world we're seeing today with Draenor, it's kind of the same thing as it was before, although changed a bit. But if you were going to completely change the history, I don't know if that would actually work in the Warcraft universe. Although I guess they can make everything work because it's a fantasy game. But I don't think really they would do something like that, like do such drastic changes to an alternate universe. Alright, and the last question is by Fenrir, and he asks, how do you think they're going to tackle Magatha and the Grimtotem in the future? They seem minute, but they have caused some discord when they put their minds to it. Alright, so everything is kind of hanging on with the Grimtotem, but I do feel like something might happen with them soon. For those that don't really know who the Grimtotem are, they're pretty much a different Tauren tribe that hasn't really been a fan of the Bloodhoofs for quite a long time, and they kind of had their spotlight in the Shattering novel, where there was an opportunity to kill Cairn, and Magatha stepped in and poisoned Garrosh's axe, and immediately after the death of Cairn, she laid siege to Thunderbluff and took over it, and Bane pretty much barely escaped with his life. Later on, Bane, with the help of the goblins, managed to retake it, and he banished Magatha and the Grimtotem, although he did give a chance for some of the Grimtotem to put everything behind and come live with the rest of the Tauren, although at a very close watch. Now, of course, the banished Grimtotem still kept plotting, and they even aided the Alliance in trying to dismantle the Horde, while there is some evidence of their secret plans and plotting and trying to do pretty much everything to destroy the Horde, and that's still kinda going on, I guess. So at this point, they're still out there, although crippled a lot, and I don't really see them as being a huge force. But if there is a chance in the further expansions, maybe since they aided the enemy before, like the Alliance, they might continue to do so if someone else comes in. So I can see something like that going on, although I don't really see them being the major threat, maybe just helping a major threat. Alright, that is all here for this Q&A. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave your questions in the next video, either by YouTube comment section, Facebook messages, and Twitter. And as I said, don't send them by YouTube personal messages, as that system kinda sucks. Also, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel and keeps the videos going. And give me some feedback on what you would like to see on the channel, as I kinda finished the RP series, or at least I'm going to finish it with the Death Knight guide. So I'm thinking about some transmog guides, maybe some guides that you guys could submit, and then I can like do like a weekly thing, or maybe like Friday transmogs or something like that, and I can give you like top 5 transmogs, or even for certain classes. I've kind of been thinking on that format, and I could do that soon. Although I'm thinking something through Model Viewer, as if I was to actually find all those items, I would never be able to get the videos out in time. So just give me some feedback on that if you can, if you'd like to see something like that, because I've been getting a lot of feedback on that recently. And also check out my Twitch.tv stream, as I stream there a few times a week, multiple games, and you can also ask me all sorts of questions. And I'm probably live like an hour after the upload of this video, so you can check that out in the description below. Anyways, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and see you next time.